Hi, everybody. How's,
Hi.
how's everybody doing today? Happy New Year. It's a
Thank you.
brand new bingo.
Oh my
And
gosh.
Eowyn and I would like to introduce Rob. Rob
Hi.
is actually the team captain of the Banyan Tree for the Thons. And I came to know you, I guess your Banyan Tree team started last year for the very first time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think we're just about to start on our third or maybe the fourth thon. So next week, I think. Yeah.
That's how I came to know you. And I remember watching the long list that total tally that Alex gives us, and I was rooting you on. I was like, "Come on, you guys go, you can do it." So it was great, and I think it might have been your first or second thought. I reached out to you, and I said it was so great seeing such a great new team that I know nothing
Oh yeah.
about.
Great in effort and small in numbers, but I hope we can
That's
improve
okay.
on that.
I think you're doing well. And for everybody who just joined, I did just post the first bingo card. We'll get to it in just a second, but wanted to talk a little bit about India and about if Rob could educate us a little bit on the modern India genealogy, which if I am correct, you've got the British rule in independent India, right?
Yeah, that's right. So my family were four generations before me in India. I actually have never been to India. I was my father had moved to Central Africa when I was born, or before I was born, and so the British rule extended up to 1947, the independence. Um, so the records in British India are quite good, but not necessarily 100%. Especially if you have, like I have, some Irish ancestors who were in India and were Roman Catholic. And for some curious reason, the British government didn't require the Roman Catholics to submit their birth, marriage, and death records to Britain. So I, in fact, have a great grandmother who, lovely looking lady from the photos, and bore lots of children, like many of them did, has absolutely zero records other than her death in Jabalpur in 1902. So I have had no records to go on other than that and family Bible with some handwritten notes. But I managed to deduce where she fitted in the tree by using DNA, which is absolutely fantastic. But it's not 100% certainty.
So, well, that's kind of interesting because then you bring in the DNA aspect, and we were talking about how large India is. And I'm going to guess that most are not testing DNA testing, but maybe the British rule immigrants, I guess they would be called, do still do the DNA testing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of descendants of British India people of mixed ethnicity, like me, who can trace roots back to some in Britain, some in Ireland, and some unknown. If you look at the Indian ethnicity, the Indian content, the records that are around are pretty much British records, and one way to get around that is to contact the churches, which is not always successful, but can be done.
So if I was somebody who, let's say that my neighbor who happens to be from India would like to trace their heritage back, the best way that they would do is go back to contact their community where they are from India. Would that be, I forget, I think there's 29 states in India.
gee,
currently,
yeah,
something like
yeah.
this, would they contact their state or the region, or would they better be off to contact their church or their local?
To be honest, I'm not an expert in that. I would imagine that the church and the community would be your primary sources if they weren't in the records that do exist. Because there are records after the British left, after independence, that are on resources like Find My Past. Slightly unfortunately, what's happened with Find My Past records and some other sources is that the original documents are not available online. Whereas if you go back further in time, they were, and you could check the transcription. But it's kind of annoying that the modern ones you don't get to see that, and that's a shame.
So
Yeah.
the hope is that, like globally, I guess. No, I hate to always use the United States as an example because we are talking about genealogy globally. But every day I notice indexing occurs. And what I couldn't find on a grandparent maybe 2 years ago, I can find maybe today. So is that the hope? Is that what's going on for those records from Find My Past, or they're just at a stall?
I think you're right. The indexing is growing. Yes,
That's great.
but then the other side of it is that they're kind of holding back on some of the information they give you, and maybe it could be a copyright issue. I don't know. I noticed Find My Past do have some records from Family Search, and I don't really understand who's the lead there, but I guess sometimes it's Family Search, the FHL. So I don't know.
I was fascinated because when I was researching this, that Ancestry, they were saying Search Ancestry does have some records, and Family Search has some records. So I was fascinated.
Yeah.
My ancestors and genealogy does not go back to India, but I am really inspired by you coming in and starting the Banyan Tree, even with yourself for a few members. It's really inspiring because you're saying we're going to do this, and then I was hoping I could give it Eowyn to talk a little bit about the 15 Nations Global Tour, and let me put that up.
Twist my arm.
Because India's first.
So we're really excited about this one. It was actually a suggestion when we asked how we can celebrate, because this is WikiTree's 15th anniversary year. And so it was suggested that we pick 15 of the more underrepresented countries and try and add like their heads of state, figure out last name issues, things like that. So David Randall has taken the lead on this. It's our 15 Nations Global Tour, and he's done an exceptional job so far. And I've seen a lot of excited people jumping in to participate, which is super awesome. And our first stop on the tour, as Sandy said, is India. And so they have been hard at work trying to add different heads of state, different notables. And partly the goal is to connect to the tree, but more than that, it's just to have really nice, well-represented profiles for these countries. So they're really focused on the biographies and, getting those stickers and categories and, really making some nice profiles too.
This brings up something interesting too, because if you notice the font, the text, language is going to be in, I believe, is this Hindu? I'm not sure. And my apologies for possibly getting that wrong, but I love seeing the global part of Wiki. It fascinates me.
Yeah, it's exciting, and I'm really glad it was suggested. I wish I could remember who suggested it, but I don't off the top of my head. But I think it'll be a great project. So each country has 3 weeks. If you get into a country you're really into, you can keep working on it for sure. Some of these we hope kind of develop into their own projects that continue on, but we'll be doing a new country every 3 weeks, and just see what we can get added.
I think that's great. I was thrilled that India was picked first, not only because we're talking to Rob today, but I'm still fascinated by this country because it has so many inhabitants. And as Rob had mentioned prior to us going live, that a lot of inhabitants have moved and migrated. And there's a lot of history here, and it would be just amazing if everybody wanted to help out, pick a family, help research, add. I know Rob would not mind if anybody was looking for a thon team.
Yeah, please come and join us. Yeah.
He definitely would not mind that. And then keep an eye on this 15 Nations Global Tour because, as we said, this is going on. This is continuing. So this is really a cool project to go. So, Rob, why did you decide to start the Thon team?
Well, my first thon, I volunteered for the British Oaks or Royal Oaks, a British team, because I live in Gloucestershire. I'm fairly familiar with that, so I signed up for that. And then the next thon came along. I thought, well, yeah, nobody's doing India. We could have a go at that. I mean, I really didn't know what to do. I got fantastic help from you guys. How to put the tree together, the space page for the tree team, and then I had to think of a name. And what's a well-known Indian tree? And it's a banyan tree. And I'd heard the word, but I didn't really know what a banyan tree was. And one of you lovely artists drew that picture. Was that you, Sandy? Was that you?
On the screen?
Yeah, that beautiful picture. That was Sandy or Mandy or somebody. One of you guys on the thon team.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, the blue one.
No, Eowyn, was that you?
Nope.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
I guess Mindy then, because Mindy does the
Mindy, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going Mandy, Sandy. Yeah, Mindy. Yeah, Mindy did that. And there's a real banyan tree. Just if you scroll the other way.
There we go.
Oh yeah. So it's and it was just fun to do. I mean, these thons are crazy because you just going flat out, and we never came last. We came pretty close to last. It's not about that. It's about just contributing.
It really is, and I will tell you, I tell this every fun. And people probably sick and tired of me saying it, but usually I'm on Team Virginia. And one year we almost did not win. We were 25. We were going to be about 25 short. And if the people who didn't add the one profile or the two profiles, if they did not do it, we would not have won because we barely got this 25 in. We were working at like 6 a.m. Eastern time. So you're right. You're so right. The thon is I love the thon because I think it's about camaraderie.
Yeah.
Talking to everybody. I love seeing what everybody else does. And I love the hangouts. I love seeing people in the chat tell us what they're working on and things like that. So, and what's great here, so for those of you that even if you decide not to join the thon, the Banyan Tree for the thon, India's still on the 15 passport tour. And anytime you can come over to this page because Rob has given you his go-to sources that he mentioned, Find My Past and FibbyWiki. Did I say that right?
Yeah, have a look at that if you can click on that because it's a fantastic resource. It's free to use for anybody.
Wow.
If you're a member, you can get a few extra benefits. But the kind of thing that's happened there is that I remember I was talking about the Roman Catholics. Records are not necessarily available. Some of the FIBIS members have been over to India. They've got permission to photograph the records of a church. For instance, there's a church in Lucknow. You may know that Lucknow was the scene of a massacre where my great-great-grandfather died, incidentally. But they photograph these records, and they're available to members for a small fee. And that's just fantastic. As you know, just finding a gravestone of an ancestor or relative is it's just fantastic and adding to the records. So there's a really great bunch there, and we have tuition talks and a fantastic Facebook page. So all of those things are free. You know, it's great.
But you're right. The membership is very reasonable.
Yeah.
12 pounds a year is very reasonable, and it not only does it come with the research, but a members area, but you also get the journals, and the journals can be a wealth of information as you're researching too.
I have written an article in it.
Oh, okay. Well, see, we're learning so much about you. Okay, well, if everybody's ready, let me give you the bingo card. We're going to do the first bingo card, and I've already warned Rob that I will not be pronouncing these names. So let's bring up the very first word. Now, a few things about bingo I want to mention. That you can get bingo up, down, diagonal. To win bingo, you have to be the first person to type bingo in the chat. And as soon as anyone's dog sees bingo, a bark will happen or a paw, right? So you have to be the first to say bingo, and keep saying if we miss it, because sometimes we get to chatting. So don't worry. And you can only win once every 6 months. But if you've already won, you still can play and have fun. So don't worry. And I don't have my coveted bingo mug, but if you win, I recommend the mug. Okay. So the first one, I can do this one, Rob. Cashmere. and bamboo. Now, you gave me these words. So shampoo?
Shampoo, yeah.
And thug. Does thug mean what I think it means?
Well, it does. Yes. They were heavy guys who would, give you a hard time.
An avatar. Why avatar?
I've forgotten the derivation of that. That's terrible. But yeah, you know it as a movie name, and you know it as an English phrase. But it is originally an Indian word in one of the languages.
And you know what word I forgot to add since you mentioned movie? And you guys can probably guess. I'll let you guess in chat. There's one word that India is famous for movies that I forgot to add.
Yeah.
Pajamas.
Pajamas, yeah.
This one I get. That one I understand. Especially around the holiday. Blighty. So this would be used in England, Scotland, India.
Blighty. Do you know what blighty means? No, it's what the soldiers in India referred to England or Britain as. Yeah, dear old blighty. Yeah, when they were.
So the Indian soldiers would call the British soldiers blighty?
No, the country. Going back to dear old blighty.
Oh, okay.
There's a song. I'm sure there's a song.
I would have totally got that wrong. Bungalow.
Now, do you use that in America? Probably not. It's a single-story house, and so that's an Indian origin word. Oh, I see. Betty
got it. That's the one I forgot to put in.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I'm a huge fan of Bollywood, so I can't believe I forgot that. I am they even have a Pride and Prejudice version in Bollywood. So,
you know what an aubergine is? No.
That is like an eggplant.
Yes, right? Yeah, or brinjal, yeah.
And a color, right?
Now, this is a pop group, but it's or was, and originally an Asian word. Yeah, the I'm not sure the meaning, but I'm sure someone will know. Someone lives in a bungalow. Loot. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Does that mean what we think it means? Money?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, maybe some people think of this as associated with Hitler and the Aryan race, but it's he borrowed it from Asia, really.
Interesting.
So it was originally Asian, Indian,
Yeah,
in an area as well. Pakistan probably were Bandana. This
I
one's
know that one.
oh, tell us.
Well, if it means what bandana means, then I know if it's, the bandana.
Yeah. As in me and Bobby McGee.
Oh,
You know the one?
Yes.
Yeah.
great song. Great song. Chutney.
Chutney. That's like a mango dish, right?
Yeah. Can be
Well,
mango,
you can
can
have
be a
mango
number of
chutney.
fruits. Yeah.
What
So
do you normally eat
a
it
lot of
with?
English speakers will know these words, but they may not be aware where they came from.
Is this to cool your mouth down from the heat, or is it just a something on a plate?
Just an additional something to add to curry or anything, really.
We got a bingo.
We got a bingo.
We got a
Hey!
okay, Patty. So, what you need to do is you need to email someone very special because she will get you your prize. And I highly recommend the bingo Friday night bingo mug. I love it. I left it by the teapot. So I don't have it now. Or a t-shirt, right? You get a t-shirt or a mug.
Uh-huh.
So either one will go. Congrats, Patty. That was pretty good. That's pretty cool. Okay, so does anybody have any questions for Rob about India? I was fascinated a little bit with the whole British Empire leaving in the transition as well. But there were a lot of wars that were fought there. The British came, I guess, did the Scots and Irish go to India as well?
Yes, yeah. When I was researching my great-grandmother, whose last name at birth was Toomey, in a desperation trying to find something, I listed every single Toomey I could find on Find My Past, and there's a massive number, and pretty much all of them were young soldiers who lived and died there. And so yes, huge numbers of. Sorry, that was my computer making a noise. Yeah, there's vast numbers of Irish, Scottish, and then during World War II, a lot of soldiers from other parts of the world, including my father, who was living in Central Africa then. He was born in Jabalpur in India, but went out as a mining engineer to Africa, and then joined up the army and was sent to Burma, via India. So, yeah, he met up with his family there in.
So when he was living in Africa, he was a British citizen, and then got sent to India.
Yeah, and then Burma. Yeah, yes, he was a British citizen. In modern times, he wouldn't be, because his last British ancestor was 3 or 4 generations behind him. So, but now I think you have to show more recent parentage than that.
No.
But so he probably may not even have been allowed to enter Britain, but we got there.
And I just had a special delivery. It's nice when your husband works from home on Fridays. Come on.
Oh,
We did
that's
this way.
lovely.
Come on. I would recommend Patty get the mug. Unfortunately, he drank the hot chocolate. So there's nothing there. So, well, that's interesting. So John had mentioned that he has a second great uncle in the Zulu War. And make sure everybody that if I posted the second bingo card up, we're going to give you a minute to get the bingo card up. And Betty Lou has a question. How stable have the borders been over the years? Europe has had several wars that cause boundary changes every few decades. Great question.
Absolutely. Again, I'm no expert, but you'll probably be aware of the partition between India and Pakistan during the mid 1940s, and then other country borders between India and Nepal, India and various other neighbors like Myanmar or Burma. have changed over the years. Yes, there's always been, or for many years, there have been those problems. Afghanistan was a big disputed area. My grandfather was involved in the Second Afghan War, and he got mentioned in dispatches for that, for which his children were very proud. Yeah, so it's been torn by trouble over many years. Yeah.
Do you have your grandfathers? Do you have the mentions of the dispatches and on the WikiTree profile
Yes, I do.
for
Yeah.
him?
Yeah.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see if I can bring that up because that's fascinating to read dispatches. So for all you military and war fans, a lot of us in the States tend to stick with Civil War a lot, and then we'll venture out to World War One or War Two. We're talking about different wars here. So if you're a military war fan, this India is a great area to investigate and add profiles to WikiTree as well. So you've got it all for everybody. You got a little bit of something that might interest everybody with this. Okay, let me bring up the bingo card. Everybody got your bingo card?
I'm ready.
Okay. I kind of winged this one. This one, Rob gave me some words, and then I fully will admit before I bring this up that I did go to one of my favorite local Indian restaurants.
I mentioned
graciously, they helped me. The owner helped me with some of the words, but this one I think might be yours, Rob. Lucknow.
Lucknow, yeah, that's where my great grandfather was killed. He suffered wounds to his shoulder and died a few days later. And there's no known burial for him. He was disposed of somewhere, but his wife and 3 children escaped. It was a very arduous journey to Calcutta. Well, I don't know what became of his wife, his widow. But the fascinating thing is one of the daughters, she married twice, had 13 children, and lived on 3 continents. So
wow.
A pretty amazing lady.
Exhausted lady. Yoga. Okay.
You'll know this one. Yeah.
And where's the puppy? Because I will say, does your dog? My dog every morning does what we call puppy yoga. Does the stretch this way?
Oh yeah,
that way.
Your dog does it?
She sleeps in her crate, so every time I open the crate, she takes 2 steps out and then she stretches.
So see, you guys are finding out about puppy yoga too.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we just talked about this area, right?
Jaipur, yeah, that's in the northwest region, yeah.
And this is a yogurt drink.
Okay.
I saw it. I did not.
Oh yeah, Lassie.
Oh, you've had? Okay, good. Is it good?
I never had it. I just recognize the word.
Bombay.
The modern word for Bombay, yeah.
There we go. Thank you for that. Jasmine, a smell, a spice, a flower.
It's my favorite kind of rice.
Yeah. I know. I don't know what it is, but it's so good. Okay, Rob.
Oh, I don't know this one. No.
We'll have to look that one up.
Look it up.
Fine. Okay. I'll take it hot or cold.
Oh, it's a city in India.
Okay, there we go. And these are just spices that the chef owner said that they commonly use, which I thought was kind of interesting because we just came back from a trip from New Orleans about 2 months ago, and they use this a lot. So I'm starting to see spices are very global as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a dish. Paneer naan.
What's the bread, right?
Yeah.
Samosas.
Love.
Nice little triangular package.
Yeah. That are fried with peas and carrots. Tandoori.
It's an oven for the cooking style, yeah.
It's a clay. I know when I was first married for a wedding gift, somebody thought that this would be a great wedding gift for me to cook. I did it once or twice. It's great, but takes a lot of time because you got to have that steam and masala. I love
Yeah,
it.
spice.
Solid. Mm-hmm.
Oops, John's on 4. He's close. Just the regular naan. I think I spelled this wrong. It should be
Basmati.
Basmati.
Yes.
Also a really good rice.
Kolkata is a dish as well. This one,
It's a town, a city.
a dish. I actually, a person sitting in the booth next to me was kind of.
You got a bingo? Tommy's got a bingo.
Tommy got a
We got a
bingo.
bingo. Oh, okay. So Tommy hasn't won bingo yet, right? Anyone? I
don't think so.
This is your first time, right?
Pretty sure.
Is you're going to do the same thing. You're going to email and make sure that you. I won't give you all the details, but make sure that you either pick a really cool T-shirt or a really, really cool mug. Love this mug. It's kind of fluorescent, it glows. I love it. I will tell you, I've laughed and people find it's funny. I've had an offer for this mug, and then
oh my gosh, just go to the store and buy it.
That's awesome. So I guess as a wrap up, congrats to Tommy, congrats to Patty on winning, and thanks you everybody for joining in this new year. I'm fascinated to learn about the different cultures as well, and to see, I guess, where the research is and how many people we can engage in different ways. And I think your favorite one, Rob, would be the thon.
Yeah. That'd be good.
So I
enjoyed this.
Left a couple of the websites there for the thon and also the 15 Nations, India's first. If you have any questions, also reach out to Rob and let him know if you have any questions, because he's been a wealth of information for us to learn. And I appreciate you joining us from England.
Very interesting.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, so thanks, guys. Bye.